Hey everyone and welcome back. In today's video we're going to be making some loaded pockets, and what these are basically are altered paper bags. You take a paper bag like this, you fold it up, you glue it down and you embellishment, and you can turn them into these adorable little double pocket little containers. So there's a little tiny pocket at the front where you can put smaller items, and then there's a much larger pocket at the back where you can put, you can get quite a lot in there, you can see. So you could put for treats, you could put gifts. These would be lovely for pen pal ideas, snail mail ideas. If you wanted to give someone a gift card or anything like that, they're perfect, and you can embellish them however you want. So here are a couple of examples, and I'm going to show you them a little bit more later on. First of all, we're going to make our loaded pocket, and we're going to be making an autumnal themed one today. So I'm just starting out with a paper bag, and you can use any paper bag you want. You can use the ones that you get. These ones I bought in a little pack. They're very inexpensive. You can buy them for €1 or so, get 10 in a pack. And what you do is you want to glue this flap down, this bottom flap. So you have it straight, and you want to attach that bottom flap down, and I'm using double-sided tape, and I'm going to put a bit there, and I'm going to attach that like that, just to secure that down. And now we're going to make the first pocket. So now the first pocket could be any shape, any size you want. So you could fold it all the way up like that if you wanted for a really deep pocket. You could fold it up just like that to make a tiny little pocket. It depends what you want to use it for. I'm going to sort of go halfway and probably put it about there. So you just want to, if you've got a bone folder, this is handy for just smoothing that down. So what I want to do is I want to tape down just these two sides here so that we can create the pocket. So I'm going to open that back up again, and I'm going to use the double-sided tape, and double-sided tape is really the best thing for this. You could use glue, but just make sure that you don't get the glue all over, because all you want to do, you just want to glue these two edges. So that's really all you do, and that makes a double pocket. And now we're going to do some decorating and do some embellishments on it. And what I have here is a sheet of pattern paper, and this is something that I found a tip when decorating these sorts of projects, is if you use one sheet of pattern paper both sides, you end up with a layout that goes really nicely together and looks very consistent. So like with this one here, the green and the yellow, this is a piece of double-sided paper, and the green and the yellow complement each other, and it gives it a really nice cohesive look. So if you're having trouble matching papers, I think if you just use one piece of double-sided paper, you'll get a really nice complementary look. So what I want to do is I want to decide which piece goes where. So I'm going to start out by putting a small piece down here on the smaller pocket, and I'm just going to take my pencil and make a rough mark like that, just to cut it. And I have the trimmer here, and I'm not going to give any measurements for these because your paper bags will vary, and you just need to eye it up yourself and see that there's no right or wrong measurements for these things. So there I have my little bottom piece, and I'm going to just stick that down here. And as you can see, I haven't gone right to the sides. I'm leaving a little bit of the brown paper bag showing through because I quite like that look, and it kind of mats the pattern paper, and I think it looks really nice. So again, I'm going to use the double-sided tape and put it down carefully along all sides. So now I have that front panel on there. I'm now going to place some more on the back. And as you can see, what I did with these is, with this one in particular, I used the two pieces of pattern paper, and I did green, yellow, yellow, green, yellow, and I sort of made a design. And this is also an excellent way of using up any scraps that you have. If you end up with scraps like this from other projects, it's an excellent way of using them up, because you don't need very much pattern paper to make like this nice little mosaic type effect. You could just use all the pieces of scrap and make a nice sort of patchwork almost design on one of these loaded pockets, and I think that looks very nice as well. So you definitely don't have to break open cut into a new piece of paper if you have lots of scraps that you can use. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the opposite side of this paper, and I have to pay a little bit of attention here because the opposite side of this paper has writing on it, so I want it to be the right way up. And let me see, what I want to do is place it about there and probably have it go up to about there. So another thing that you could do, and I haven't done it here today, but it's certainly something that you could do, is when you glue down, decorate this back pocket, you could always decorate it before you glue it. So if you want the pattern to go all the way down, then you can just glue down your piece of pattern paper before you glue the front pocket up. Now I'm not too bothered about that for my ones. And I don't mind if inside the pocket you can see the brown at the back, because I don't think it matters very much. But if you wanted to, you could do that, and obviously you use a bit more paper up, so it just depends what you want to do. And then on top of that, I'm going to put another strip of the little pyramids here. I want to add some embellishments on the front. Now on this one I just cut out a piece of the pattern paper and cut out that embellishment, and on this one I used a journaling card, and this is a nice way to use journaling cards as well. So any of these little cards that says school supplies or class in session, anything like that, you can cut it out, put it on the front, and I rounded the corners with a corner rounder. But for this one I think what I'm going to do, now I could just put a nice little journaling card on the front, which would look lovely, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to place some colour and cut out some different embellishments. So these are digital stamps, and these are from the Autumn Walk stamp set, and this stamp set is available on my Etsy shop if anybody's interested. It comes with a load of different autumn themed digital stamps that you can print out, colour in and cut out. So there's some apples, some acorns, a fireplace, quite a few different mushrooms, pumpkins, a mug of hot coffee, some leaves, a log, just the sort of things you'd find walking through the forest on an autumn day, in other words. And obviously you'd be carrying the mug with you because you're unlikely to find that in the middle of the forest. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to quickly colour these in, and I've got a few different nice autumn coloured markers here in this mug. This is one of the nice things about using digital stamps, is that you can completely make your own embellishments and focal points to suit whatever paper you're using. Because I have this nice patterned autumn paper here, but I bought it just as one sheet, so it didn't come in a set, and I don't have any journaling cards that match it or anything like that. If you buy papers in sets, then you often get stickers and journaling cards, and you get everything and it all matches, so it's very easy to put together lovely looking cohesive projects. But if you don't, and you're just buying paper one-off, or you pick up something that you like when you see it, and it's quite hard sometimes to find things that match. So having your own, being able to print out some digital images or draw your own if you like drawing, that's a really nice way of making your own embellishments to suit your projects. I'm now going to go ahead and do a tiny little bit of touching up with a white pen. And if you've accidentally gone over some lines, then you can use one of these white pens. This is a Uni Posca white paint pen, and I find that this is the best opaque pen that I've ever tried, and it's excellent for correcting mistakes if you go outside the lines, and you can do several layers depending on how dark the ink is. But there we go, and so I'm just going to leave that how it is for a moment, and now I'm going to cut them out. Now, I could cut directly up to the coloured line, but I think what I want to do is I want to have a tiny little white mask all the way around. So I'm not going to cut directly up, and this is why normally when I'm colouring embellishments to cut out, I don't worry about going outside the lines, because it's all going to be, I'm going to cut right up to the lines, so you're not going to see anything. But I was trying to be a bit more careful with these ones, because I knew that I would want to cut round them like that, so they look almost like little tiny stickers on a white. And if you have gone over the lines in some places, no problem, go ahead with your white pen and then just touch up, because these are pretty small little embellishments to colour, and it is easy to go over the lines. I'm going to place the pumpkin in the middle and then the 2 mushrooms on either side. So I just want to sort of decide if I want anything underneath, and I think I probably do. So I could place a little layer of that underneath, but I don't think that's quite contrasty enough. So I think what I'll do is I'll grab some different paper scraps that I have, and I'll have a look and see if I can add a layer of perhaps green, a little strip of green in there to make a little mat to put these on. I think the green will... You just want to play around a little bit with the elements to see how they're going to look. I think like that's nice. I think I do want a tiny strip of this though. So let's just measure the length of that. Trim this down and trim off a tiny little strip of that to go in the centre. Now for the mushrooms, I think I'm actually going to use some glue for this. And I'm just going to use a Pritt stick. This is actually a good one, but you can use whatever you like, as I said. And the nice thing about working with a wet glue for embellishments is that if you need to reposition them a little bit or sort of move them around a touch, you've normally got a few seconds or a minute or so before the glue dries, so you can do any rearranging that you want. On these others, I've actually put a sentiment or a few words or a couple of lines of text at the top of the bags. With this one, it does need something. If you add a much darker colour, like this green, to the piece, it's just a question of balancing it out so it doesn't look too... so it's not all in one place, in other words, so that it's nice and balanced out. Otherwise it can look a little bit over heavy in one particular place, and I'm going to cover up that little gap, but that doesn't matter. And I almost want to put that like that. So if I get the... See, in this way you can use up absolutely everything. Now normally I would never normally keep a little strip like that because there's not much you can do with it, but if you can find a way of using it in the piece like that to help add some more lines and texture and dimension to it, then that's wonderful. So I'm going to pick one of these sentiments to put up there, and we're using the same paper again. So I could go with Fall Harvest. There's Be Thankful Always, Season's Greetings. Season's Greetings is a little bit small, I think. Give Thanks, a bit hard to cut out. So I think Fall Harvest is the one to go for here. That looks rather nice, I think. We can just put that up there. There's a tiny little bit in that, as you can see there, up in that corner, there's a tiny little bit of one of the flowers from the Be Thankful sentiment, but it doesn't matter too much. And I quite like the way that overhangs, and that's something I found with doing layouts like this. If you have things slightly overhanging, you have things slightly different dimensions, it adds to the visual interest, I think. I'm just going to add one extra little thing there, because I felt like at the top there it needed a little bit of something, so I've cut out the Season Greetings little banner from the back of here. It's actually missing the bit at the back, but it doesn't matter. I'm just going to sort of tuck it under the pumpkin and overlap it on the mushrooms, and there. So that is done with all the paper, and now with the other two, just move some of this stuff out the way a little bit. Now with the other two that I did, I also added some embellishments with some liquid pearls, and this is dimensional pearlescent paint. And you can make these lovely little raised dots, and you can do all sorts of things with this, but that's one of the things that I did with these, and it helps to give it a little bit of a sparkle, I think. So I'm going to add some to this one, and I'll use the white, I think. I used the buttercup yellow on this and the white on that, so I'll use some white. And I want to think about where to place it. I like to do little rows of these to just sort of add a bit of extra interest. So there we have the 3 loaded bags that I've made. This nice autumn one, and this would be nice if you were doing, if you celebrate Thanksgiving, or you're having a party or something and it's autumn and you want to put some party favours in it, or you want to give, or you've got someone who's got a birthday or something coming up and you want to put a gift card, or this would make a nice little bag if you were giving somebody a small gift, like a piece of jewellery or something maybe like a little pair of earrings, something that's not too expensive but you want to dress up a little bit. As I said, all you need is a paper bag and then you can embellish it however you want. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Make sure you leave a comment down below. Let me know which one of these you like best, and if you've made loaded paper bags, if you'd like to try it, if you have any tips, make sure you leave a comment down below and let us all know. And I hope you all have a wonderful week, and I will see you next time.